I am Kiara Bowden here with my mom, Heather Christensen, and we are turning it up. We are all about giving you ideas, tips, and tools to live extraordinary lives that you are meant to. And we are sharing our journey with you. And we hope that someday you will share your journey with us. So we just came off of reporting our 30-day manifestation challenge. And that was a nice change up from our Zoom routine that we have going on here. We are still moving forward on each of our journeys, and we will share on our Instagram accounts updates periodically on that. So if you wanted to follow along on that journey, go ahead and give us a follow. We'll put our links down below.
Awesome. Well, today, as we've been talking about creating and working toward manifestations, we feel that there's an important message that you need to hear. And the message is, as you are working on your manifestations, if you knew who you were, you wouldn't give up. So I'm going to repeat that. If you knew who you were, truly were as a spirit, you wouldn't give up. So the world says that things should be easy. And if things aren't easy, then you're doing something wrong. That's what the world says. But this just isn't true. It doesn't matter who you are. We all receive opposition because we're meant to grow and learn and come more in alignment with our spirit's desires. And remember, we talked about our heart's desires. And your spirit is always seeking for your mind and your body to become just as your spirit is. And that's where that opposition comes in.
Yeah, it reminds us of what the caterpillar goes through to become a butterfly. So the butterfly first lays the egg, lays lots of eggs, actually, usually, and then eventually that egg hatches and crawls out a teensy tiny caterpillar, just like my girl's favorite book, The Hungry Caterpillar. So its job is to eat and get really fat. Then once it's full grown, it builds a pupa, or otherwise known as a cocoon. So this is called the chrysalis stage for the butterfly, or it's like a sheltered state where it grows. And during the chrysalis, lots of things happen. It starts growing eyes, legs, wings, and other parts of the butterfly. And at the end of the chrysalis, a hormone is released and it begins to actually soften the hard pupa so that the butterfly can start to emerge. This is called eclosion. So fancy. The butterfly begins to crawl out head first, pushing and tugging and working incredibly hard. And I actually love this description that the Abby Shelter posted of this process on their blog. So the Abby Shelter is an organization that serves and empowers survivors of sexual and physical abuse. And they posted this beautiful analogy. So they said the final exit from the butterfly's cocoon is also the most grueling part of her transformation. In order to escape her cocoon, she must struggle to free her body with its brand new wings from its safe place of sleep. The struggle is at times so intense that the butterfly may seem near death, but it is critical at this point that no one comes to rescue her. She needs to do it by herself. You see, the struggle to open her cocoon is what builds the strength in her wings. Without the struggle, the emerging new butterfly lacks the strength to fly and embark on her new journey through the world. Without this self-sustaining strength, she will perish quickly. Again, she needs to do it by herself.
But let's take it back to the caterpillar. The metaphor of the caterpillar and the butterfly. The caterpillar and the butterfly, they are one and the same, but they don't look the same at all. That caterpillar will spend all of its days eating and getting fat, mumbling around from one leaf to the next, taking it all in. But I'd be interested to know if that caterpillar really understood what it was taking everything in for, if there was more to its life than eating and getting fat. If it knew why it was doing all of it anyway. It takes everything in to feed what it can become.
What's crazy too
So,
is there's actually a lot of like moth species, the most beautiful large moths that actually can't even eat once they become a butterfly. So all of that work and preparation that they do as caterpillars is what actually sustains them. It's the only thing that sustains them through their time becoming the beautiful moth or butterfly.
wow, I really love that. I love that so much because if we were to take, let's say, food as an analogy for, or as a metaphor for everything that we are taking in to sustain us, what is sustaining us? Not food wise, but spiritual wise or mind wise. What kinds of things are we taking into our mind or allowing into our mind that will sustain us in these really hard times?
Yeah,
Anyway.
their sole purpose is to find a mate and reproduce, and then they die because they run out of food to eat. but that's such an important task and purpose for them to accomplish. And that's what the caterpillar does, is it allows all that stuff that they do allows them to complete the most important task, which for them is, making sure their lineage continues.
Right. Well, our bodies could be representations of our spirits, or they are representations of our spirits, but our spirits are what the butterflies represent. They're colorful and beautiful, and they're meant to fly. And I just think the butterflies are such a great representation for our spirits because there's so many different colors. Well, moths and butterflies, if you want to talk about it, because you were telling me just yesterday that the moths are super beautiful, even more beautiful than some of the butterflies.
Yeah. They are.
So we've talked about how we are eternal spiritual beings and we existed before this earth life. And in this life, we have bodies to experience humanity and to learn and grow. And the way we learn and grow is through opposition and adversity.
What? Why?
I know there are times.
Dang it, Adam and Eve.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this earth life experience, even though there are times when it's just really hard.
So like as a side note here, if you haven't taken the opportunity to use the meditations to connect to your spirit, we highly encourage you to do that because it is so effective. And as we have said, your heart or your spirit knows everything because it is connected to God's spirit in that oneness, and it can tell you the truth of all things. We really like to look at these meditations and these techniques as a really efficient and effective way to get into a state of being able to hear God's voice and listen to the spirit. So if you haven't, go back to the first series of videos and try it. And especially if you haven't already, or if you did and you just haven't been doing it, go and do it again. Because that is really the key of how you put yourself into a state of calmness, peace, and in alignment with your spirit.
Really, we can't say it enough too, because I just had some clients that I was working with in former days call up and say, I'm just really struggling with my emotions and I'm having a hard time. And and so I started asking them, well, what's the issue? Well, things just, if they don't go as I expect them, that's when I get upset and I have a setback. And all of a sudden everything falls apart. And I said, well, have you gone through the limiting beliefs meditation? And well, I meditate. Well, what do you do? Well, I listen to music and I lay there and listen to music. And I said, so what happened to all of the meditations that you were supposed to listen to? Well, I just didn't think it was working. And I looked on the app and saw that the points were just minimal what he was using. And so I said, okay, let's do this. Let's go through a limiting belief meditation and see what happens. So anyway, there were three meditation or limiting beliefs that came up. And it was interesting after we did the first one. Um, and he said the exact opposite of what the limiting belief was. He says, whoa, I cannot believe how good I feel. And so and maybe it just takes many times of doing it to understand how to do it, to work through it. If you have questions how to work through it, please reach out. We want you to be able to use these tools on the app. So maybe we should do a video on how to use the app, Kiara, huh?
Video tutorial. Yeah,
Yes.
you should.
Yes.
That's a good idea. So, who exactly is your spirit? Do you know? Do you know what you look like in perfect form? Have you ever even thought of it? Have you received a vision in your meditations of who you were before this life and things that you did? It might seem strange to think about that. But for people who regularly meditate and connect to their spirit, this is actually a common thing that will happen for them. This vision is such a powerful image in the mind's eye, and connecting regularly will remind you of the strength and power you have within you because it can show you the potential of what you have to become in this life.
Yeah. And that's why we say if you knew who you were before this life, you wouldn't give up. You wouldn't give up on the manifestations that your spirit is encouraging you to move forward in and believe in. It knows you are the incredible, beautiful, unique, colorful butterfly meant to fly. Let your spirit guide you. So when you get into the midst of that struggle while you're working toward your manifestations, remember that butterfly that needs to struggle to become and to be able to have the strength to spread wings and, like Kiara said, sustain itself through really difficult times, because without the struggle, you won't emerge as you are meant to emerge.
I
So,
I actually love this quote. It sums it up perfectly. I feel like I found it the other day. It says, "Perhaps a butterfly is proof that you can go through a great deal of darkness and still become something beautiful." That's
love
by
that.
Bo Taplin. I have no idea who that is, but I just love how simple that is because it's true. Hard things, adversity, it doesn't make us not beautiful. It helps us become beautiful because we can figure out how to get through them.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And we have everything that we need to be able to get through. God provides, He does. So when you come to the struggle, put time in the app. Remember to work through your limiting beliefs so that you can keep moving forward. It's so important to keep going because those limiting beliefs are exactly what will keep you in the pupa or the cocoon, and you won't be able to emerge as the beautiful butterfly that you are. Well, that is it for this week.
Yeah.
And we thank you for joining us again.
Yes. So go be a butterfly, everyone. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.